cabinet reportedly weighing military plan that would begin with conquering Gaza City and ramping up aid. Is Benjamin Netanyahu going to have a U-turn? Is he going to completely get rid of the full plan to occupy Gaza? Or is this another step for Benjamin Netanyahu to climb down completely? There are multiple options on the table. So far from the reports that we're getting, the option to have a ceasefire is more and more distant. The option of Benjamin Netanyahu having a full occupation is there, at least in terms of approval. Mind you, we're not talking about success rates, by the way, in implementation. That's a separate story. And another option was to occupy additional parts that Israel potentially did not participate in or did not invade previously in Gaza. But the talks now in Israel are about Gaza City. Now, in Gaza City, the information that the Israelis are quoting is that there are no Israeli prisoners of war in Gaza City, assuming that they know. They're trying to say that because Netanyahu and this plan received a lot of backlash from the families of the prisoners of war and many in Israel, saying that this could risk the lives of the Israeli prisoners of war in Gaza, and he could potentially be repackaging this whole campaign in a different way so that he can get more approval. But the division is still there in his government. The division is very, very harsh, to a level where it led one of the prominent cabinet members, his name is Aryeh Deri, one of the religious elements in his government, cut a trip and go back to Israel to vote in this cabinet meeting. He cut a trip short. He came back to Israel so that he can vote against an expansion of the war. There are certain elements in the Netanyahu government who don't really want to continue the war. They're realizing, they're hearing what the military leadership has to say, that the Israeli army is incapable, that the Israeli army is defeated in Gaza, and that the Israeli army is facing a lot of problems. So even if they wanted to, it's not like they really have an option. And the reports are coming after direct threats and direct warnings that came from the IDF chief of staff, the serving one, mind you, because people who are now not serving, they're very, very critical. I posted a video earlier on of many of the previous heads of political and military and intelligence establishment in Israel going outright against the war, calling it a defeat, a loss. Netanyahu is misleading people, that Israel is on the eve of defeat, alongside many more dangerous things that they stated. But the serving IDF chief of staff is saying that this Gaza occupation thing would be a strategic trap, and Hamas would attack us really heavily. Israel would have a lot of losses inside of Gaza if they want to go for the full occupation option, because they've tried everything. They've tried everything against the Palestinian resistance. Nothing worked. The only thing that Israel is doing is targeting civilians. So targeting civilians, civilian buildings, hospitals, genocide, urbanicide, scholasticide, infanticide, all of that. But the resistance is there, and it's going to remain there. In addition, more reports are coming now about so many problems and so many things that Israel tries to hide the majority of the time. For example, the fact that Israel is now treating about 80,000 soldiers and is facing a major challenge. Israeli media reported that Israeli hospitals and the Israeli healthcare system is treating 80,000 soldiers, not really specifying what all of them are being treated for, but saying that they have about 20 to 30,000 with PTSD. Previous figures said there was 100,000, but listen, the Israeli media publishing these figures is something very significant. And this could also be another attempt coming from elements within Israel to try and stop the Netanyahu government from expanding the genocide in Gaza because of the severity of losses that the Israeli army has suffered during all of this genocide campaign. No matter how much Netanyahu wants to hide this, He can't, because the images are coming, the footage is coming, the stats are showing up, and it doesn't matter how much Israel and the Israel authorities wanted to censor information or hide information, it will eventually go out. And that's part of the stupidity, huge stupidity that's coming from the Netanyahu government. The more they prolong this, the more they give people time to publish more information, change their mind, release information, remove any censorship, apply more pressure, turn against Israel, take action against Israel. So many things. If he cut it short and he reached a ceasefire, he could have potentially still fooled people that, oh, look, we were the victim, we attacked them, and he still might have had some sort of legitimacy. Now Israel has no legitimacy. In the eyes of the global population, Israel is an outlaw state, a pariah state that doesn't have a right to exist as an apartheid entity. There is an outright majority globally. And any other talk, really, that you might be hearing, whether it's someone online pretending to be independent or any of the normal Zionist mouthpieces, it's all propaganda and garbage. The populations all across the world, they don't view it as a normal state that has any right to exist. And many viewed it as such from the beginning. That's why they were talking to you and trying to plant in your head that, oh, they have a right to exist, and they do have a right to defend themselves, and they do have a right to go on an all-out campaign, even if they do kill civilians inside of the Gaza Strip. That's not the only problem. The other problem that they have is now the ultra-Orthodox religious leader in Israel said that we are going to we're going to begin an unprecedented global struggle. The Orthodox community is going to have a struggle never seen before against the state of Israel, according to him. Rabbi Lando, the state of Israel has declared war on the Torah students, and we will embark on a struggle like no other. Now they're also offering prizes for people who received a draft letter saying that we're going to support you. Their own internal lottery. But this threat is real. This movement inside of Israel, it has a very, very large capability. You're talking about over 1.2 million people, and if Netanyahu keeps on pressing against these people, that's going to explode in his face. Many things that he and his government are doing are leading Israel into oblivion. And it's as if he's sitting there pressing on the speed button for annihilation.